welcoming to the first time for MA Oddsbreaker. We actually have, this is my first father-son team, to be honest with you. I don't think I've ever done a father-son once before. Steven Thompson and his dad, Ray Thompson. For those of you that know, excuse me, I said Steven, it's Stefan. Jake Ellenberg, I got Jake ready to battle Thompson, and it definitely didn't go my corner's way. So, yeah, and Ray's his coach. Yeah, no, don't be sorry. I mean, you did a better job that night, and sometimes age and speed and quickness and unorthodox styles kind of come together. But the first thing I gotta ask you, I was a professional athlete for a long time. I was a high level wrestler before that. My parents stayed the hell out of my way. Like they sent me to the other coaches and allowed it to happen. My kids now are high level athletes. They're young. I mean, awesome. They're super young, but they're high level athletes are what they do. And I stay away. I don't want to be in that space because I'm worried about them having a bad day at practice with me being the coach, and then it comes to the house. When things were obviously now I'm assuming you guys don't live together now, but when no. You were younger, how was it? All of a sudden you've got coach and then you've got student and then you're coming home to the same house. First, I want to start with Ray. Go ahead, Dad, and tell us kind of what was it like and how did you keep it from having to throw him through a window?
Well, I run a pretty tight ship, and he learned early that being my son, there was we didn't do a whole lot of negotiating.
Okay.
It was my way, and that was it. I mean, I'm smarter than he is. At least at the time, I was a lot smarter than he is, and I knew I was smarter than he is. I just didn't give him a whole lot of chances to make the wrong decision. I just kind of kept a tight leash, and I knew he had talent long before he even thought he had talent. And a lot of times it's you think, well, it's just your dad think your kid's the greatest kid in the world, and I do think he's the greatest kid in the world. But nonetheless, I also recognize talent. I've been teaching martial arts a lot longer than he's been around.
Okay, now is your background were you in the military? Is that how you learned that strict discipline and this is how things go, or was that from the martial arts, the traditional martial arts background that you have that was like, hey, you want to get this done, there's only one way to do this correctly, and this is just how it is?
Well, I never did spend any time in the military.
Okay.
I spent 4 years in military school.
Okay.
Which was really big, and that's where I started my martial arts training, in military school.
Oh, okay.
But the military school that I attended was a pretty stiff handed organization that taught young men to be young men and to be disciplined, and I was able to take a lot of that training and take it over into my martial arts, and also I did get some pretty traditional training back in the day, which also helped me to be a little bit more of a disciplinarian when it comes to my martial arts and my kids as well.
So let's talk to son now. Now, Dad has one mindset of how it went through as you were growing up. This is his understandings from his point of view.
Right.
What was it like? My dad was a son of a bitch. Like but he raised me right and he kept me straight and narrow. But it was a pain in the ass coming home to Dad, and he wasn't my coach. So what was it like for you? What was your interpretation of growing up with Pop?
Well, you know what? We separated it fairly well. I mean, of course, I got 2 brothers and 2 sisters. We all started at the age of 3. Mm-hmm. And that's just the way in his house. I mean, there was no ifs, ands, or buts. If you were living under his roof, you were doing the martial arts. And actually, I started my full contact training when I was 12. But we separated fairly well. I knew when I was in the gym. I knew that I respected that a lot. I knew that he was training world champions at the time. So he knew what he was doing. So I was the athlete. He was the coach. I knew that whatever he said, I had to do. But whenever we went home, we knew how to separate it. I've been doing it, my whole life, been around it my whole life. So we knew how to do that. I mean, there were times where I hated karate, man, growing up, because I was, like you said, I was kind of forced to do it. But I thank him every day for it, man. Every day.
Yeah. Now, I mean,
he didn't give me a chance. Yeah.
You're one of the 1%ers. I mean, let's be realistic. There's only, you're doing something that 95% of the men on the planet wish they could do. 5% of the men on the planet can do, and only 1% of the men on the planet can do well. And you're in that 1% that can actually go inside that cage or ring, depending on the organization, fight, and not panic when you're getting overwhelmed, not panic when a bunch of strange things are being thrown at you, and pull it off. But with that being said, how many kids just like you, dads or their coaches, went through martial arts, moved into mixed martial arts, and completely failed, and are doing something else. They're plumbers or accountants and moved on to some other profession, but had that same upbringing, but aren't able to make a living at it like you are.
Right. I mean, to be honest, like I said, like I thank him every day for it. If it wasn't for that, I wouldn't be who I am today. So, man, it's crazy, man.
We've had thousands. I've been in operation. My school's been in operation in my little community for 32 years, as long as he's been alive. I've had a school open that long, so I've had thousands to go through, but I've got one. I've got one in the UFC. So I mean, that's the highest expression.
And to be honest with you, that's about the right average. That's really is about how it works out.
That's
so
right. Yep.
Now, Dad, you've had an academy you just said for 32 years. Obviously, let's be honest, men are not men anymore. There's this whole thing of everyone pretty much knows my opinion on bullying. Like, bullying's not something brand new. It started with David and Goliath. Like, bullying has been around forever. It's not. We got to stop bullying. It's never going to stop. Teach our kids how to take care of themselves. That's how you stop bullying. Don't try to bash on this. And of course, we can get into the whole Oregon shooting with the gun, and it's a mess. But really, honestly, and I don't want to offend anybody. Well, I don't want to offend you two. I don't care if I offend anybody at home. It's the pussification of the male species right now in America. Like, all of us becoming
1,000% agree with you.
So,
I agree with you 1,000%.
What's it like now, especially with your son in the UFC and people going, "Oh, that gym's right down the street. I can go right there," and this guy will never amount to anything, can't do it, doesn't have the understanding, and will never have the discipline. How tough is that for you to take that new student that's walking in and going, I got to try and teach this kid something, but I don't know how I'm going to do it. Like, how I'm going to break through to him. Like, what's it been like the last 4 or 5 years?
And you know what? It's really been tough. We have kids, parents bring their kids to us. Not all of them. There's a few, but there has been on many occasions parents bring their kids to us and they want us to teach discipline to their kids, to turn their kids into something that they're not willing to do themselves. You know what I'm saying? So and then when we tighten the screws a little bit, when we require that kid to be a little tough, then we got the battle with mom and dad, because mom and dad doesn't want us to make poor little Johnny break a sweat or do a correct technique without I'm with you. We deal with that every day. It's tough.
Now let's go back to son. So you've got a situation now where you obviously have been raising the program. You are the star of the system, of your dad's system. Obviously, you started there.
Yep.
I've still been there. Have never left there. I've always been in that space. And now you've got guys walking in and going, "Hey, every gym has it. I'm gonna come in. I'll be in the UFC in a year. I'll be a UFC champ in 2 years." And they've never done anything ever in their lives, like never. But you're like, "Hey, I've been doing this for 32 years. And my dad indoctrinated me into this." I mean, you could literally start a story of, I was conceived in the gym. Like, you could start that little family story to say this is how it goes.
Pretty much.
So what's it like for you now having to deal with these guys who are coming in and going, your dad's a little tough, but I want to be the next champ, but I can't tie my own shoes.
Well, you know what? Like I said, we get that a lot. I teach the MMA program here along with my pops.
Mm-hmm.
We get guys, and it's funny because when guys come in and say, "Hey, I'm going to be in the UFC. That's what I want to do. I'm going to learn how to fight." And usually when they come to us like that, we know deep in our heads, they're the ones that last. They realize what it takes actually to do what is necessary to be a fighter, and they don't last, 2 or 3 weeks. But the guys who come to us, I want to train, I want to learn some stuff, I want to get in shape, I want to be a martial artist. Those are the guys that stick around and end up being that fighter or that amateur fighter going up to be that professional fighter. And we can kind of, basically they kind of weed themselves out, to be honest with you. And we're left with the actual guys who want to make it to that next level. And not everybody wants to be a fighter. We got MMA guys who are doctors and lawyers who can't afford to be leaving with black eyes. So that's what, we consider ourselves a school, not really a gym. So, everything that we do is geared towards that. And of course, for the fighters and for the guys who want to actually fight, we do a little bit extra with them. But yeah, man, they just kind of weed themselves out.
And it's really a sad state that, the men in America, are in. They,
Yeah,
it's hard to find tough guys like you
it's
and
like
like him. And
I don't understand it. I have a hard time, and now I'm in Hawaii now. I'm over here doing some stunt work for Hawaii 5-0. So I'm always kind of seeing like different cultures, and over here, in Hawaii, things get pushed out to, whatever the new technology, the new thing, whatever comes here 15 years later. Like it's always like Hawaii seems to be like 15 years behind in a lot of things.
Yep.
But the one thing they're not 15 years behind is like the men over here are still men. Like we'll throw cracks. Like we'll go out in the middle of a bar and a guy will come up and I'll be drinking, hang out with my girl, and he'll be drinking, hang out with his girl, and I'll bump into his girl by accident and spill a beer on her and be apologetic, whatever. But he wants to go outside and throw down. He doesn't give a damn who I am or what I've done. He doesn't care what's going on. He wants to go outside and throw down. But there's no knives. There's no guns. Maybe a club if it's like a gang thing, but if it's a group. But that's it. And then, okay, all right, we won. You guys got to buy the beer. And that's it. It's over.
Yep.
Like, go back in the bar. Like, this is how it used to be when I was growing up, too. Like, that was it. Like, it was no retribution, no going around. So, like, you say certain things, you're like, then I go back to Vegas to go see my kids and hang out, and I see some of these, and I have a real hard time. My youngest, and you've gone through this with your son. My youngest is in a league now for baseball. They don't keep score. Everybody hits throughout the entire out. I'm like, you got to keep score and get these, and you got to like figure this stuff out. When son was growing up, did you have those situations? Because he wasn't always doing just martial arts. He had other sports he was doing, other things he was interested in. Did you sometimes have to go like this just isn't for us? This program just isn't for us. We're not going to be able to be a part of it.
what? Well, when he was going through sports, it wasn't as bad as it is today. They actually won and lost. Because he is an old guy now. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I forget he's 32. I keep thinking you're like 22. I forget that you're only 10 years younger.
I get that a lot, man.
We get that little, but you got that. It should be. It shouldn't be Wonder Boy. It should be a baby face. But Barnett had that for so long. Like you seriously look like you're in your early 20s, which is going to be good when you're in your 50s. But
you know what? To be honest with you, I feel great. But I get that a lot, man. You look younger than I. Training keeps you young, man.
How long are you going to stay in it? You're 32. Most guys are starting to bail out about 36, 37 now.
Yep. And as long as my body will let me do it. Right now, I've had 4 surgeries on my left knee, 1 on my right. And, I mean, right now, my knee's feeling good. And like I said, I'm going to do as long as my body will let me, to be honest. Or when Pop says, you know what, you're done.
Just going to ask if that can be the conversation that really Dad's going to come in and go, no,
yes.
You're done. You've had enough.
You know how we are. We're fighters. We're going to do it as long as we're going to do it. It doesn't matter how old we get. We want to fight. But, I trust my pops. I don't trust anybody else to be honest with you, to coach me.
Dad, let's talk about a guy like BJ Penn. He retired from the sport. He's out. And then all of a sudden now he makes an announcement he wants back in. And I talk to BJ probably twice a day, 3 times a day. We text back and forth, a couple phone calls a week. And he wants back in. Like he wants to be back in full bore. How tough is it for a guy like that to come back in now after being out for 2 or 3 years?
You know what? A body that's in motion stays in motion. A body's at rest. It stays at rest. He might can get back. How old is BJ? I don't even know how old he is.
He's 39. He'll be 39. He turns 39 pretty soon. Yeah. But he's never had any damage. He's never had any surgeries. He's never been, other than a couple, stitches in his face. He hasn't had any major damages. And he's one of those guys that kind of like,
I would say if BJ had stayed in, I could see it. But the fact that he got out, got family happy, living life happy, and then all of a sudden to jump, kind of get sedentary to a degree, and then to jump out of that back into the grind, it's going to be hard. I'm not saying he can't do it,
but it's going to be grind.
I wouldn't recommend it. For me, if I was his boy, I would say, you know what, BJ, don't do it. Train, coach, do that sort of thing.
Well,
but to get back there and be competitive, that's rough.
The same situation for that you have is kind of the same that the Penns have, where the entire family supports BJ. The entire family is behind him. Mom, dad. Now with BJ with kids, his wife, and they're all supportive. Like they're all full bore. Like it's a family affair. Like I'm
But are they?
assuming. Go
I'm
ahead.
sorry, but are
No,
they
go ahead.
are they all martial artists?
JD, BJ, and Reagan, the three boys, are all martial artists. Are all high level,
Okay.
all super high level jiu-jitsu guys. All of them. And I
Yeah.
rolled with Regan in L.A. a couple weeks, or like a week and a half ago, and he's he's taller than me, but like 170 pounds soaking wet, and I couldn't stop him from doing it. He never got me anything, but I couldn't stop him from doing what he wanted to do too. It was like a battle. So you can kind of see like their game keeps you from getting hurt. Their game keeps you from having to have those knee surgeries that you've had and things like that. But it's still at my age at 43. I still want to get up and go train twice a day, and I still want to get out there. And I get about halfway through the warm up session, like, man, do I really want to go out there and get punched in the head today? Like, do I really want to do this? Like, not really. I'll just kind of move on to something else.
Not when you got a better avenue, like the avenue you're traveling right now is a whole lot better avenue, at least at this point in time in your life and career.
Well,
I think the avenue traveling is way better than the one he's right now.
Well, here's the thing. When we talk
rough.
about this, and we'll talk about GSP, because this is your weight class. Where they keep talking about, is he going to come back? Is he not going to come back? And the rumors abounded from $4 million to $6 million per fight that he was making. So he needed to fight one time a year. Well, then you look at like the movies he's in, and you look at the roles he plays, you look at the residuals he's getting. It's like I can actually really get hit or fake like I'm getting hit for the same amount of money, approximately.
Yeah, that's why I don't think he's ever going to come back. I mean,
I mean,
he's making more out of the UFC than he ever did when he was in the UFC. So what? Why? I mean, what kind of point are you trying to prove if you do? To be honest with you, I don't think he's going to do it.
No.
My era of guys, I was a mid-level guy. I fought for the title twice, but I still was a mid-level pay guy. So for me to make a jump into stunt and acting, it's very easy. I get paid way more than I ever did, doing a day rate on stunt and acting than I ever did fighting. Like way more. So it's not even a question. But for a guy like you, in 6-7 more years, the amount of money you could be making, the next step in your life is going to be what? Because it's tough for you to go from making $500,000, $1 million a year to all of a sudden no income unless you have another avenue to kind of make it up. But what other avenue can you jump into that's going to give you that $1 million a year, that $500,000 a year? What's that next avenue?
Well, as it stands right now, I'm going to interject. As it stands right now, he has his martial arts instruction. We got this school that's going to eventually be his and his little brother's, and they're going to be running this school. Will he be making $2 or $3 million a year running this school? I doubt it, unless he does something really spectacular.
Right.
Though
Tybo.
we do really well. Our school, we have a little over 650 active students in our school.
Holy crap!
Yeah.
How many students are on?
busy.
Do you guys do like yearly contracts? Is it a monthly contract? Like,
We do.
Oh yeah, all of them are on.
Yeah.
What's the average price per student?
$140 a month.
$149 a month.
$149 a month. Excuse me.
So you're doing.
Which,
doing
to be
okay.
honest with you, a lot of schools, it's more expensive, but but we're $149 a month, man.
I mean, you can charge $249 a month, but why? Why? Especially as a traditional martial arts academy, why are you trying to hurt the population? Like it's about making a fair rate, but you're not trying to steal from them. So like, $149 is a good rate. It's an honest rate. It's an honest rate to keep the doors open, keep the lights on, keep the mats clean. It's an honest rate, and that's what martial arts is about: is being honest and making it equate. But 650 damn students. Jesus, how do you keep that straight? Like there's every day is gonna be like, what the hell is your name? Like I've been coming here for 2 years. My name is James. Sorry, man. Like I don't know. We got 650 people.
Man, we have grandkids. We got grandkids of former students taking.
Wow.
Yeah.
I guess so. That makes sense. Never moving.
And their kids and their grandkids.
Wow, that's crazy.
Yeah.
So you legitimately have got a third generation of students being raised in your system.
That's right. Sure do.
Ray, how old are you?
I'm 60.
Are you really? Oh, okay, that's where it comes from. Okay, okay. Because I was trying to do the math in my head. I'm like, he's got to be like 52 or something because he's got to be. But then he said younger kid. I know you have an older sister too, correct?
Yep.
So it's like I was trying to do the math in my head. I was like, this wasn't making sense. Like your weight, so you look a lot younger. Like obviously the genes are good. You look a lot younger than you really are. So.
Well, I
So
appreciate that.
you're old enough to remember when it was just full contact karate, and that was the only game in
Yep.
town, and that was it.
Oh,
Other
yeah.
than boxing,
Yep.
obviously. What a
Yep.
morph for you! Like, were you one of the traditional? And be honest, please. I mean, you can say a lot of stuff on here, but be honest. Were you one of those guys when UFC first started in '94? You were like, "This is bullshit. This is crap. This is," or were you one of those
Nope.
guys like, "That's where we're going"?
We
That-
watch. Yeah,
That's that. Yeah, I took him when he was
12.
or he was a kid. I took him to UFC 2 or 3
Oh,
whenever
wow.
Chemo fought
Shamrock, yeah.
Hoist Gracie and pulled his ponytail out.
We were there.
We were
That's right.
there. He was
Wasn't
there.
that when Guy
Remember-
Metzger and Eric Paulson fight each other too? And they both were doing the no ponytail pull. Like both guys had long hair, but neither guy would pull the other guy's hair. I think that was UFC 3.
Right,
I
right.
could be wrong.
So,
but
yeah.
Yep. Yeah,
That's
I don't know if it was
crazy.
that card or not, but I remember
Wow.
when Chemo, pulled Hoist Gracie's when Hoist
right.
Gracie pulled Chemo's ponytail out.
Yeah.
I saw that. We were there watching that fight.
Man, we watched. That was like a weekend thing, man. We all got together, watched the UFC, and yeah, man. I remember then I was like, I want to do that. That's what I want to do right there.
Yeah, and I, whenever the South Carolina Athletic Commission was debating on whether or not they would allow no holds barred in South Carolina, they had a meeting and they called all the local karate guys and the guys have been around forever, and I was the only one that was for bringing MMA to South Carolina, whereas all the other guys, they looked at me like I was an idiot.
I was scheduled to fight in Georgia in like 2000, 2001, and I went to the commission hearing that was like, we may or may not be able to fight tomorrow night. Like that's how the commission hearing went. And I went in there and I saw there was a bunch of traditional martial arts guys like, no, and they got voted down. So I flew out, had to cut weight to make weight, couldn't, there was no fight, so I didn't make weight and all that. And then like years later, I go back in like, no, that first meeting, I said, I was the one that was like, I was the only one there that wanted to go forward. I was the only one there that wanted to go forward. And I stood there, I was like, I was at the meeting, guys. You weren't.
Yeah,
there was
you definitely
nobody that wanted this thing to go forward. Everyone was trying to backlog it. Now, everybody, but New York, it's legal. Like it's the fastest growing sport in America. It's incredible.
It is. Back in 1980, like first UFC was in 93 or when was it?
93, 94.
Yeah, something like that. I fought in the tournament that was stand up to the ground.
Oh wow.
Yeah, but the term no holds in 1980, 13.
Wow.
I got newspaper article. It was one weight class, 165 and up. It was crazy.
Oh,
I had no idea what I was doing.
Yeah, we got a picture of him like jumping in the air, getting ready to stomp this dude's head that's on the ground. It's pretty bad.
Yeah, it was.
Well, let's be honest. Those rules were the best. I mean, just stomping on guys' heads. It was,
this tournament.
I'm just saying.
Groin kicks were legal.
Yeah.
Kicking the knees at any angle was legal. This was before they had a South Carolina Athletic Commission.
Oh yeah,
it was a long time.
Yeah, that's crazy. Now, of course, obviously, we all follow the ABC rules. So, let's talk about the weight class, son. Let's where are you fitting? Let's take the rankings out of it. Don't pay attention to the rankings. Where's your honest assessment right now of yourself after 7 fights in the UFC? You compiled 11-1, only losing to Matt Brown.
Yep.
That's an incredible record. Like where do you actually fit now in the hierarchy of the UFC 170-pound division?
Man, I mean,
and let's not forget we got to take Hendricks out. We got as of right now, Hendricks has got to move up to 85. He's out. So now imagine look at the change up top. That's swapped out the former champion, the best guy. As of right now, he's out of the way. Yeah. And matchups make fights where you and Lawler might be a good fight, but you and McDonald might not be. It's just it's all about stylistically. So where do you think you fit now, knowing how the styles match up and screw rankings and don't worry about you're not boasting. You're just saying this guy I match up very well. This guy I don't match up with very well. That's it. You're not trying to boast or call anybody out. We're not calling anybody out. We're not talking trash about anybody. We're just asking an honest assessment of where you think you fit.
Well, right now, I mean, the top I mean, top 5 just legit wrestlers, man. And those are the guys that, to be honest with you, give me trouble. The wrestlers, obviously. I come up in a kickboxing background. I had my first MMA fight in 2010, which I hardly had any wrestling or jiu-jitsu.
Mm-hmm.
And basically I was just kind of winging it, to be honest with you. And, you know, so those are the guys that give me trouble. There's a few guys in that top 10 division who are going to stand there and bang with you, like Tarek Safardine, like Robbie Lawler, Carlos Condon, I believe. So I think right now I'm fine where I'm at, to be honest with you. You know, right at the end of, number 9, number 8, I just feel comfortable there. I mean, there's a few guys behind me who are legit, like Gunnar Nelson. I mean, his ground game is ridiculous, but he's not afraid to stand and bang as well. I mean, he uses his striking, his karate background. He's got a karate style to get it to the ground if need be. But it's those wrestlers, man, that are just.
Well, you have a wrestling problem, and that's what gives you problems. Have you brought anybody in, or you talk, when getting ready for training camps? Because really, it's not the training camp where you're going to learn stuff. It's when you're not in training camp. That's when you actually get to make the most improvements. Are you bringing wrestlers in and trying to do a lot of extra wrestling training?
Oh yeah, I mean, we got guys. Of course, having Chris Weidman in your camp as well. I mean, made a huge difference in my takedown defense. I mean, against Patrick Cote and a wrestler as Jake Ellenberger. But having somebody in on your legs at all times every day, especially somebody like Chris, man, makes a huge difference. Got a buddy of mine named Matt Miller. He's a Canadian Olympic wrestler up from Canada. I met him through Ryan Hall, who's on the Ultimate Fighter show right now. I'll bring him in. He's actually coming here in a few weeks to help me out. He's going to start 2 or 3 weeks. So it's going to be, it's every day, man. Every day.
And when now a lot of guys I've noticed, like, hey, I'm a great striker, so I strike 5 days a week. I'm like, well, yeah, but you're a horrible wrestler. Yeah, but I only wrestle 2 days a week. Well, but you're horrible at it. Why wouldn't you swap that? What's the format you follow? So he's in for wrestling. What do you do?
Oh yeah, I do. Right now, it's more jiu-jitsu and wrestling. I keep my striking because that's just what makes me an exciting fighter. Got to keep that up. So I basically work with him maybe two times a week, basically on doing mitt work and just focusing on, a certain technique. Maybe he saw me not doing something right in my last fight, but most of the time it's wrestling jiu-jitsu. I mean,
Smart.
You have to be. I mean, everybody. Of course, the game's evolved. Talking about BJ Penn since the last time he fought, the game has just evolved tremendously.
I got yelled at, screamed at. I got hate mail. I got hate emails. I was like, look, if GSP comes back right now, he doesn't make the top 5. And I was like, you're crazy. I'm like, 170-pound weight class is the most evolving weight class that there is. Everybody, it's the bell curve. It's the most normal weight class for most citizens to compete at as men. And everybody evolves. Like, it's not every year. It's a new kind. It's every 3 months. It's a new evolution of what's going on in that weight class. If you're out for 6 months, you've missed 2 revolutions. You're out for a year, 4 revolutions, dude. You're out. Like, you are out. There's no way coming back in. So you're saying that you feel comfortable at 9 or 10, but you're working on your wrestling. There's some guys I think you actually match up with pretty well in the top 5. But there's also a couple of guys in the top 5 that if you get the wrong phone call, could really hurt your career. Like, get one of those beatings where you're like, I don't know if I want to do this anymore, Dad. Like, that one hurt. But then there's other guys out there where you're like, this is kind of scary, but it's the 3rd round. I'm kind of whooping his ass. Like, this is all right. There's a lot of that going on because your style, your speed, and your length and your strength.
To be honest with you, I felt that way whenever we got the call to fight Jake Ellenberger.
Mm-hmm.
I went up to help Nate Marquardt up in Denver to get ready for Nate, and he just got crushed, man. And he's one of those guys that could be a career-ending opponent. I mean, Jake Ellenberger's got power in his hands, man, and he's knocked dudes out. And his wrestling is good enough to make you afraid of his wrestling to just smoke you in the head, which he smoked me in the head with his right hand before that first round. Man, thank goodness, I've been drilling my wrestling, so I just shot in, recovered anyway. But that's how I felt actually when I was told, hey, you're going to fight Jake Ellenberger. I'm like, crap, man. But, of course, you got my dad. I got good training partners, Chris, to keep you positive. I just trained like I do every other fight. Went out there and just did my thing.
This is I gotta end it right now, but this is like a 3-part interview. There's no way we got through everything I want to get through with you guys. I thought for sure it'd be quick, one fight answers, in and out, and be like simple. And it's like, I got off track and got on a tangent, and it's like, geez, we'll be doing this again. But I got to know, is there? Yeah. I haven't looked. Have you had another fight announced yet? Is there something else coming up, or are you still waiting?
Nothing yet. I had knee surgery about 2.5 weeks ago.
Okay.
Compensating when I hit Jake that last spin hook kick on the forehead. I thought I broke my foot, to be honest with you, my heel.
Oh, okay.
Just a deep bone bruise. I was compensating, ended up falling, tearing the meniscus in my left knee. So I got 6 sessions, I think, during PT. So I'm slowly getting back into training.
Okay.
And the plan is to get back in shape. I got to help. I'm going up to help Chris with his next fight with Luke Rockhold.
Okay.
And if anybody backs out during, November, December cards, hopefully I can fill in, because the top 7 guys in our division have fights already. But if not, we're looking at January. But no names or anything yet.
Yeah. Man, that's great. I didn't realize you had knee surgery, so hopefully the rehab's going well and you come back speedy.
Thanks,
man.
bro.
It's awesome. I'm so glad I got to talk to both of you. Thank you so much for coming on. I know it's
yeah.
tough, especially since both of you coach and run the gym. Then when both of you are sitting down, it's like, who else is out there running this place? Like, so I understand.
Man,
Thanks so much, man.
I hope we can do it again.
We are. We'll have to do it again soon because I promise you, like this, I didn't even get through a third of what I want to talk to you guys about. So we have at least another 2-parter we got to go through.
Oh,
at least.
Awesome.
So
Just
we'll set it up
let us
again.
know.
We'll definitely be talking soon, guys. Oh, for
Awesome.
sure.
All right.
Thanks so much, man. Have a great rest of your night.
It's
It's a pleasure.
honored. Thank you so much, and hope you soon.
Yes, sir. You will. Bye now.
Yes, sir.
See you guys.